this lesson, we're going to play that funky music by Wild Cherry. This is a good funk tune on bass. And you know, a lot of people play the guitar part on bass, and I'm here to show you the actual bass part as they play it on the record. And it's a combination between the bass and the guitar together. There's actually two guitars, one playing the chords, one playing a line, and then the bass playing the bottom. And if you get that all working together, it'll sound really good, like the record. So it's in the key of E, and we're using E pentatonic minor, which would be very typical of funk tunes. Let me just show you the riff. So. There's a lot of like hammer-ons in this to get the right vibe on it. And something I want to point out: the recordings, at least some of the stuff on YouTube, is very sharp for the key. It's in the key of E, but the recordings are sharp. So if you play along, it'll almost be like it's an F. But if you look closely at these guys playing on the record and the part that, especially the bass player, the part he's playing, there's no way to play it in F with the same sort of position that he's playing it in the video, and also the way the part goes. And that's because there's a hammer-on between the open E and the A here on the 5th fret. So here we go. Just using the box pattern, the pentatonic minor. And that first E can also be played kind of like a dead note. Like that. So there you go. That is the main riff. That is played for a while until we get to the break or the B section, and we just hit an E on the downbeat, and we rest for the remainder of that bar and 3 other bars. At the end of that 4th bar, we do a walk up and the key changes, and we play a very similar riff in G. It's a little bit different because we don't have the same flat 7 to the 1 again as part of the riff. It's just the octave. And there's no pickup to that 16th note thing. There's just the 4 notes together: C, D, F, and G. And again, this is pentatonic minor, but we're in G. It just changes key. 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3. And we change keys. Well, I'm sorry, we play the riff in G, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times total. On the 5th time, we actually change key again, go up another minor third to A sharp or B flat, depending on how you look at it. So let me do the pickup into the G, and I'll play through until we get to the B flat. And then we have the riff that everybody knows. And this is all E pentatonic minor, as this is about as pentatonic as it gets. And you can slide into that first E. And that's it. There's just those sort of three different sections. We've got the main riff in E, then the same riff kind of in G, and then right before we go to the riff, one time on the B flat, and then the pentatonic riff. And when I hit that E, I'm sliding off of it. I mean, you know, whether he does that on the record or not, I'm not sure. But and I'm doing a lot of dead notes, little extra dead notes, but I'm also trying to imitate the drum beat a little bit. It's hard to say whether he's playing that stuff or if it's just the combination of the drums and the bass together in the recording that make it sound like that. But like that riff right there, there's a lot going on there. If I first off, I'm cutting off that E note. It's short, and if you notice, we've had some lessons on articulations in the same volume. If you take a look on the music, we have the dot underneath the quarter note. That means it's short. So you're not like that. You're not playing a full quarter note. It's just even the eighth note, even the two eighth notes after that are also dotted. Or not dotted, but have the dot underneath them or over them to indicate that they're short. Like that. I'm not putting 16th notes with rests. I'm writing the eighth note and putting the dot over it to indicate that it's a short note, staccato. So, but to continue on, I'm actually hitting the strings like the snare drum. If the snare drum's in most rock and funk and pop music is hit on the 2 and the 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And a lot of times when I'm playing a part, I'm actually hitting the strings to kind of pretend like it's a snare drum. And a lot of times it just makes it funkier. It helps me keep the groove going internally. And it's kind of like slap bass a little bit in some sense. And I'm also adding some little dead notes there. Sorry. So I'm adding a lot of little extra rhythms to it. It's really not part of the bass line, but it makes it a little bit more funky. And I'm doing this not so much as a part, I'm doing it instinctually. And again, just because I've played bass lines this a lot, over many years, that kind of falls naturally for me. That's not to say that he's actually playing this on the record. So I haven't put that sort of stuff in the chart, but I'm showing you some of that flavor that you might be able to add rhythmically to playing it. And then, of course, the riff. So there you go. Those are the parts for Play That Funky Music, White Boy, and by Wild Cherry, with some dead notes, some interesting funk stuff in there. Classic bass line for you.